3, 2, 1. Well, hello. Welcome to the YouTube edition of Star Wars Tonight. We're going to get ready to start the podcast version, and we got all the folks in the live stream as well. So I'm very excited for tonight's episode. We're talking Mark Hamill, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to get my music up, and I love this. By the way, just a side note to the video people watching on YouTube and stuff. I love this edition where I kind of start with a video, say hi to those folks, and I end saying hi to the podcast folks just because of the different the recording stuff I've got going. All right. Anyway, enough of all that. We're going to no. We need to click on that, click on this, and then here we go. I have seen someone's face. It is the face of a man I did not expect to see during the Force Awakens marketing. It's the face of Luke Skywalker. It's not even the face of Mark Hamill. It is the face of Luke Skywalker, and I'm in awe because Mark Hamill's out and about right now doing promotion, and I'm so excited.
Falcon flight with destiny, headlong into the fight.
So excited that I'm actually starting the talking sooner than I normally do with the music because it's freaking Mark Hamill, and I didn't even get to finish my tease like I normally do. Like it starts right now. Usually I'm like it's perfect timing, and I just talk too much. That's why I'm breaking in right now to say that we've got an amazing show. This is the 14th episode of Star Wars Tonight, which is quite a coincidence. Because it happens to be 14 days until The Force Awakens hits theaters. I am
and my 14th birthday.
Your host. Okay, we'll get to him in a second. I'm your host, Riley Blanton from StarWarsReport.com. Let's bring him in. He's already talking. It's Scott Reichman. I even messed up your name. That's like punishment for jumping in too soon, sir.
I was going to say, did I break podcast protocol there?
You will not that's a Steve Glosson rule, man. I jumped in, and I've done this to be fair, I've done it 3 times whenever I'm on his show. But I'll say something before he does the official dramatic throw to his guest, and I always jump the gun. But I'm not so strict, sir. So you're welcome to talk whenever you want, sir, here on Star Wars Tonight.
Oh, don't make that offer.
You're talking to a guy who does 3 hours a day, local radio.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anybody who enjoys the sound of his own voice, it's me.
Scott, by the way, just listen to this past week, the Jimmy Mack edition of, I almost call it Star Wars Tonight, of My Star Wars Story. Patent pending.
Yes.
Her universe. And it's a great episode, man. I absolutely loved hearing Jimmy's story. And kind of getting a perspective on someone, I've made no bones about, take 2. I've made no bones about it. I'm a huge fan of Jason and Jimmy over at Rebel Force Radio, and it was really cool to hear him kind of give a really nice linear tale of their Star Wars experience as someone who's followed it for so long.
Yeah, linear through no effort of his.
Yeah.
There's a lot of throughout the whole thing, and I left a lot of that in because I just thought it was funny. Because I'd have to go, hey, okay, wait a minute, you're getting too far. Back up.
Yeah.
Back up. Let's go back here. But no, he was great. I loved, and it's funny because there's so much lead time on this. I recorded that.
That was before Celebration. I got a few hints in the dialogue.
I think it was in January or February, and so you kind of forget a lot of it, and when you go back and re-listen to it, you go, God, I had a great time with this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean Jimmy. He's a force of nature in the world of Star Wars broadcasting, and it's really cool. If you haven't listened to My Star Wars Story, stop what you're doing right now. I mean, we're doing this every day. Just forget about this show and go listen to My Star Wars Story because it is an incredible podcast, one of my favorites in the realm of Star Wars, and I was on it. So go find my episode too.
That's right, just a couple episodes ago.
I like to call mine the short and sweet edition of My Star Wars Story because My Star Wars Story is barely begun. I feel like I'm still I don't know.
Well. We'll revisit it later. We'll revisit it down the road.
I think that there's the sequel series is going back.
My Star Wars story revisited.
Like 20 years from now and checking in on everybody. It's just like catching up. But before we jump into there's a couple things I want to talk about right up at the front of the show, Scott. The first one is our sponsor. We have a sponsor for this entire week of podcasts that we are capping off today. This is the final read, sir. It's the return of the Waze, if you will. That's right, Waze, the GPS app, is sponsoring the Star Wars Report. And that includes this very podcast. They're partnering with us, Scott, to get the word out on their brand new C-3PO co-pilot edition of the Waze GPS app. If you want to have that shiny gold protocol droid as your co-pilot / panicked driving buddy. It's worse than your mother sitting next to you while you drive. He's like, police reported ahead. Oh my. It's all your fault.
All right, that's it. I'm traveling tomorrow, and I have not installed this yet.
Download it, man. It's gonna be. It's just a blast. And of course, I already love Waze. We've already talked about them here all week. About it's basically crowdsourced traffic information, which I absolutely love. But of course, now it's with Star Wars, which makes it that much more cool. So if you want to experience the Star Wars Waze edition and drive around with C-3PO, you want to go to waze.com/download, or more importantly, especially for the podcast listeners, go to starwarsreport.com/WazeGPS, and that takes you to a great blog post that my wonderful sister Bethany put together for the folks that kind of runs down everything that you can do with Waze. We've got some big giveaways coming up. In fact, I don't have the information with me today because it's the last day of ROTC. I literally landed too late to be able to prepare it. But coming up in the next few days, as you're listening to this, we're going to be giving away a series of awesome gift cards courtesy of the folks at Waze, and they are Star Wars themed. So make sure you're following at Star Wars Report and at Star Wars Tonight to make sure that you catch those giveaways as we're doing them. So we'll be announcing those very soon. We thank Waze for supporting us here at Star Wars Tonight and the Star Wars Report family. Again, go to waze.com/download or starwarsreport.com/WazeGPS. All right, Scott, I have one other thing for you.
What's that?
It's a little thing called, as I stall and pull up the correct audio, it's a little thing called... You recognize this, sir?
Wait, yes, the techno Star Wars theme.
Okay, so
that's the old Star Wars Tonight or Star Wars Report theme.
What I encourage you to do, sir, is check out the latest episode of Disney Vault Talk, because because here's the thing, man. We've gotten some feedback about our wonderful
Teresa again.
thing, but it's not just from Teresa. I feel like she's a bad influence on some of our listeners because we're getting like tweets and emails and iTunes reviews talking about this music. She's brought upon us a terrible negativity about my favorite new intro song. Like, it's so perfect because the thing about this intro is that it gives you, I put all this work into it, man. What it does is I cut out, I even use some filtering in Audacity because I'm cheap and that's the only editing software I can afford. And you'll notice, instead of lyrics right here, you're just going to hear... You just kind of hear a distant echo because I filtered out all the lyrics so that I could tease, like, coming up on this episode of Star Wars Tonight, Riley talks about Teresa Delgado's dislike of this very song. Will we change the intro? We're going to find out about it coming up on this episode of the Star Wars Tonight. Thanks for listening. I don't know why I'm still talking. Let's do it.
Falcon flight with...
Right? It's perfect, right? It's like radio professionalism. I get 30 seconds to tease the episode, tell the folks what's coming up. But here's the thing. Now I'm questioning myself because I sat across the table from you, sir. And you gave me a piece of advice that I took to heart. And that, in fact, some listeners that had emailed previously took to heart. And that is not so much a fan of the techno. But now I'm divided. Not unlike Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight. Well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself, man, so I did what I always do, and I sought approval on the internet.
You know what you should be doing instead?
What should I be doing?
Going with your gut. Let me tell you something. You have, and Steve Glosson has, you guys have tremendous natural broadcast instincts. Take it from a pro here. Take it from a veteran who's been in the trenches. You guys have very good natural instincts, and what you feel you should be doing is what you should be doing. Period.
So what you're saying, Scott, is I must do what I feel is right, of course.
Of course.
Oh, it's too easy.
Now we're going to cut to the Death Star.
I feel like that, man, that was... I'm going to pat myself on the back on that one. I thought that was a pretty good little sneak in there. Well, what's funny is I did exactly what I always do and sought approval on the internet and sent out a poll to the Twitter at Star Wars Report. Do you want to hear the results, sir?
No, you know what? I don't. You know what the results I want to hear?
What's that?
What does your gut tell you?
My gut kind of wants to see what the most of our listeners want to do, and my gut wants people to stop complaining about my intro music. So also, my gut's really kind of needs some work after Thanksgiving.
Now if you change back, then some of us are going to go on the internet and start complaining that you bowed to pressure instead of being the legit Riley Blanton that you are.
This is very true. This is very true. In fact, I'm going to pull up the Twitch chat right now and see what I'm see what I'm doing. So so we've got a few in the chat. They're saying in the chat right now, it's saying Scott's right, which is, by the way, a good it's a good default position to take, I think.
That should be a billboard around town.
Yeah, and of course Dagaz and the D-Dog in the chat is basically saying just flip a coin. So I like it, man. And in fact, I've already kind of decided before I saw the results of the poll, and the results of the poll are in, and we have an overwhelming majority that want us to keep it. So take that, Teresa. Can't wait to see you in a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know, she's about to play host to you in Texas.
That's true. I'm probably destroying it, I think. No, actually, it's one of those things that I might actually change the Star Wars Report one, because now this intro is kind of tied to this show, I feel. I don't know. Well, and if anyone who's been listening to podcasting I've done in a long time, is I'm pretty constantly changing segment audio and intro audio.
And that's good.
So, Scott.
That's good. That's healthy. You don't let it get stagnant. But hey, Riley, guess what?
What's that?
Star Wars.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about let's as they said in The Simpsons.
You're taking your own show off the rails, Riley.
Talk about
now, it is my
Star
job.
Wars.
My job to take your show off the rails, not yours.
This is true. This is true. Or if you listen to the latest episode of Star Wars Report, Teresa's. God bless her. Check out fangirlnextdoor.com. She's got a new blog up on The Force Awakens. It's really awesome. So, folks, we're going to talk about him. It's Mark Hamill. He is out and about. He is hither and he is thither. He is Luke freaking Skywalker. And just earlier today, there was this amazing video that Omaze put together of Mark Hamill suiting up as a stormtrooper from The Force Awakens. And
all right, now's the time for me to take you off the rails.
Oh, okay. So now's the time. I feel like now we've returned home.
Well, today is Mark Hamill Day, but yesterday was Harrison Ford Day. But I wasn't here for Harrison Ford Day yesterday. That was Amy. And I just one little tiny thing I want to say about the Harrison Ford, if I can.
Tell me all about it.
Okay. You guys were doing clips from the talk shows and everything. And one thing I will tell you that it to me is fascinating about watching Harrison Ford on these talk shows is have you ever seen Harrison Ford's been my favorite actor for decades. But I used to cringe when he'd go on talk shows.
Yeah. No.
Because he was awful.
Are you kidding? Remember, like, he was on The Tonight Show, I want to say, just a year or two ago, and they're trying to get him to talk about Star Wars, and he would just grunt on any late night show he was on. He would just kind of go...
But, I mean, go look on YouTube. I'm sure it's somewhere on there. He did an appearance on Letterman to promote Blade Runner. That is just... You're just like, what in the world is this guy on? Because he just. I
mean, that's a dangerous. I was going to say
nerves,
Scott. That's a dangerous question to ask.
Huh?
I was just going to say that's a dangerous question to ask.
Yeah, but it's amazing. He used to be so. I mean, sit there and fumble, and even at the George Lucas tribute. Remember the AFI did that George Lucas tribute.
Oh yeah.
And he got up and spoke, and he's shaking and mumbling and all of a sudden the Harrison Ford that is showing up on talk shows now is funny.
I know.
It's what always bothered me when I saw him on talk shows was that's not the guy I go see in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
exactly.
now he shows up on talk shows. He's the guy you see in the movies now.
He is. Like, he was just especially on Fallon. Like, all of his segments were really, really on point. And, like, when Fallon said, so I heard J.J. Abrams actually hurt himself, trying to, if you listen to yesterday's show, he's talking about J.J. Abrams trying to save you and it hurt his back.
Yeah.
And he just get this dour look with a twinkle in his eye as he leans over and he says, they dropped a bleeping door on me.
That's right. But they did you see him? He basically did the same routine on Kelly and Michael.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, and he was engaged, and more so than I've seen him in years.
He sounded good. He sounded like he was trying to make an effort to speak coherently, and it just again, for decades, I have loathed seeing him on talk shows because he is never that guy you see on screen. And now, all of a sudden, he's that guy you see it on screen, and I can't be happier because I have to feel like it's something is happening with him that is giving him this joie de vivre, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what I've always wanted.
Well, should we be cynical? Like, should we say, like, how?
I don't think so.
How big should the Disney paycheck be? Like. What is the Harrison Ford "Please Be Entertaining" on Fallon fee? Is there? Yeah, do you think such a thing exists?
You get a point if you do the movie, but you get 3 points if you're engaged in the talk shows. I don't know. I don't care because the end result is it's pleasing to us, the viewers.
Yeah, and you know what? Seeing him and how he's engaged with the whole media is just so refreshing. And we talked about it so much yesterday, but it can't be overstated just that he is the, I guess, torchbearer of this film. Right? I mean, everyone's kind of loving the appearances of John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, but they're sort of like Star Wars royalty, right? It's like they're princes and princesses that were following around because they're attractive and they're part of something that we all love, but we really don't know them, right? I feel like we know Harrison, and I feel like we're learning. Maybe I'm being too optimistic here, but I feel like we're seeing the Harrison Ford that if you were just grabbing a beer with him, you would have if he was just enjoying himself and laid back. And I feel like he just doesn't like media appearances, and he had to kind of get over that a little bit.
Well, and Stephanie says in the chat, and I think that's what I've always felt it was too, was this he gets really nervous in front of crowds or live audiences, but lately he has just been so relaxed and just so, again, engaged and quick and sharp and smart and funny. Again, I couldn't be happier for the guy because whatever's going on with him, I'm delighted. I really am.
I know. And you know what? With that blitz in the last 24, 48 hours of all the late night show interviews and the appearances of Gwendolyn Christie, and there's this amazing photo that's circulating. It's Gwendolyn Christie in a Captain Phasma dress. You have a Time magazine photo shoot that we're going to get to of all the cast, and you had all these appearances of Harrison Ford, of course the main cast. I'm trying to think of who else, but just so many media appearances. I really kind of thought that was going to be it, that we just aren't going to see any telltale sign of Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker's just landed, my lord. Yes, he has, because, ladies and gentlemen, today, in the last 8 hours, we saw the launch of the latest Omaze video promoting their charity drive to raise money and get your chance to attend the premiere of Star Wars The Force Awakens. And what it is it's Mark Hamill suiting up in the new First Order, Stormtrooper gear. And it's incredible. It's a really engaged, funny. It's the Mark Hamill I've seen on stage at Celebration doing his thing, running around looks like San Francisco or somewhere. More importantly,
I think it's L.A., isn't it?
I think probably.
Because I saw the characters on the streets, and that's the thing that happens in L.A. and New York.
That's true. I wanted to play this brief glimpse, and for the guys watching live, and for you guys who are watching on YouTube, first of all, if you're listening to the podcast, subscribe to YouTube, youtube.com/user/Star Wars Report. But I'm going to play a brief excerpt of this video right now.
The last time anybody saw me in a stormtrooper outfit was when we rescued the princess on the Death Star. So I'm getting suited up in my stormtrooper gear, about ready to hit Hollywood Boulevard for Force for Change. Follow me.
And he proceeds to hit the streets.
Open up the blast doors.
It's the door to your right.
Open up the blast doors.
So there it is. Mark Hamill goes undercover as a stormtrooper. I kept expecting him to rip the helmet off when someone said their favorite character was Mark Hamilton, but I feel like maybe they were worried he'd be mobbed.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't like about the video was I really wanted him to, like Harrison Ford kept showing up and shocking people. And you didn't get to see that.
That's true. Can you imagine, though? The other thing I want to point out is the man's well-coiffed hair. He is styling. Or as we millennials are saying these days, he's ballin'. He's a handsome.
Yes, ballin', yes.
He's a handsome man, and I've pulled up on the video edition the main Omaze website where you see his picture, and it's just amazing. But it doesn't stop there. What I really want you to do is take a look at this CNET. Is it the CNET article, or is it the Guardian, or was it Time? Time. See, I'm tab surfing right now. I want you guys to take a look at the show notes at StarWarsReport.com, or of course, if you're watching the video edition, you can see this right now. But I want to just talk about Mark Hamill's appearance in the most recent Time magazine photo shoot. Because that's right, ladies and gentlemen, they included Luke Skywalker in it, which surprised me. Like, Scott, did you think we would see Hamill?
Yeah.
You did? You weren't...
Yeah. I didn't think they would keep Mark Hamill away just because they're keeping Luke Skywalker away.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I kind of thought that it might be the kind of thing that Abrams would not really at least focus on for the general public, so that when they go in, they'll keep saying, well, is Luke Skywalker in it? Is it not? Where it's not like such a big obvious marketing push. That unlike Han Solo, who's literally there all the time going, Chewie, we're home.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna surf through. Oh wait, see, Time magazine has an ad. Stop it, Time. It is not. And here's the thing: is that they have ads, but they pause to buffer. And so I can't pause them because they're already paused, and then they keep going when they buffer. All right, back to
you're not on my favorite internet connection to start with.
This is so true. This is so true. So we get a pretty cool glimpse of Carrie Fisher, looking good. We get, of course, all the rest of the main cast. But who I want to talk about is this dude, Mark Hamill. Scott, if you pull up the Time article, have you seen this picture?
I have not yet. I am.
So what I'm going to do, sir, is I'm going to
scrambling to get there.
No, I popped a link to you in the old Skype chat, and
I've got it on the document.
Okay, yeah. And if you jump through that slideshow, it is the picture number 7, and you're going to see something that's just going to floor you. At least it did for me, because he looks, and I never thought I'd say this, but he looks more the part in terms of his health, fitness, the twinkle in the eye. He looks more the part of Luke Skywalker than Harrison Ford looks the part of Han Solo, which floors me that I'm saying that. But it is so true.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I do have it. I'm looking at it right now.
Would you disagree?
Carrie looks good, too. No, I don't that more than Ford looks the part. No, I think he looks as good.
So you're not willing to take that extra? Maybe I'm just floored because
It's got a twinkle.
The folks saw when I was live and first saw this photo. I was taken aback, and it was just amazing to see, and it just makes me so excited. I don't know that if part of it is a little what's the phrase I'm looking for? Part of it is a little bit surface level in that it's just cool to see how much weight he's obviously lost and how great he looks. But part of
don't talk about losing weight now.
Well, I was going to say, Carrie Fisher's been in the headlines a lot talking about losing weight, but she's not the only one. They
asked her to look like Princess Leia, and she has a fit.
Well,
but she did it.
She did it, and it's huge credit to her. That's
and she got an endorsement deal out of it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really don't think the majority of people are upset about the fact that she was pressured to lose weight. I think it was most people see it, and I think she sees it as a positive thing. If you read the original quote from the interview she did, I think it was a feature in Good Housekeeping, which, by the way, it is awesome that Carrie Fisher's on the cover of Good Housekeeping. Now I know that my sweet old aunt, who lives about 20 miles south of me, which puts her squarely in fairly rural Pike County, Georgia, will see Princess freaking Leia on the cover of her magazines as she gets them each month.
Good housekeeping. But I think she looks great in these photos.
Absolutely. And I think there's a whole nother level to it beyond just that, where it's a commitment to these roles that these actors have found. And I hope, I mean, I can't say this for sure, but I can certainly hope that these actors are getting in touch with the characters in the passionate way that we would hope they would.
But I don't feel like this was any shock when she started talking about this because as a guy who keeps up with the rumors as you are, didn't you hear all along that her pay and her part in the film were going to be based on how much she could slim down, and that was the case for Hamill too?
I never heard the rumors about pay. But I do know that they both. It's actually been pretty equal that we know that both of them. Part of their contract was losing some of the weight, and that's because they're not like Harrison Ford has. God bless him. He's a whole different breed of actor. Mark Hamill, I love his passion for creativity, but he's not, and I don't think he wants to be the big leading man type. And he's not going to, and it's just not part of who he is as much. So I can certainly understand that he's not going to be in perfect Luke Skywalker shape, just in case the call comes through. I mean, for the last 25 years, he's been known as a voice actor primarily. Yeah, and that's not part of who. Same thing with Carrie Fisher is that she has not been forefront in Hollywood in terms of acting roles, and that I guess that could kind of sound derisive, but I certainly. She's written a book. She's done a whole
book. She's written a ton of books.
She's written, yeah, exactly. She's been very busy.
Postcards from the Edge and Surrender the Pink and Wishful Drinking and yeah, she's been all over the place.
Absolutely,
she's written screenplays. She may or may not have helped out with episode 1.
Really, I did not know that. See, now that's amazing.
Yeah, she's achieved quite a bit. Yeah, they say she may have been brought in as a script doctor on that.
Wow, that's amazing. I did not know that. But I guess all that to say is that just seeing these actors again, I find myself 3 weeks into this process, Scott. I find myself even more excited about this movie. This is like a problem at this point. I need to stop liking Star Wars so much. I have always taken some measure of pride in the way that Star Wars has always been an escape for me, and it's been something that I've done, especially in recent years, as an addition, I guess, to staying busy with school and ROTC and work part-time and all that stuff. Like, goodness, like we were just talking about Steve and Teresa filling in because I was gone for 4 weeks at Air Force field training. Star Wars is very much a passionate part of a creative section of my life. And I am proud to say, ladies and gentlemen, pardon me, let me get in close on the camera here. Ladies and gentlemen, hi. My name's Riley Blanton, and I'm proud to say that I am devilishly and absurdly excited to see the next Star Wars movie in a way that I would normally never think that I would be. Even doing podcasts every week about Star Wars, this is a level of excitement that I could just not see the movie at this point, and I've experienced enough of a great time. When I sit down in theaters, it's going to be something that is exactly what is in my head right now that I literally can't form into words to speak.
Do yourself a favor.
Patreon.com/Star Wars. No.
Do yourself a favor.
Yes, sir. What's that?
Do a huge favor for yourself, and that is don't walk away from this. Soak it all in. Enjoy it as much as you can. You're talking to a guy who, was one of that original generation of kids that got whacked in the head with a 2x4 when he went in to see this film. There was, as I often say, there was a world before Star Wars and a world after Star Wars, and they're two distinctly different places. And for people like me, and I lived through this, and then the dark times came, and there was nothing. I remember, you know how today you have to pick and choose what Star Wars stuff you get because there's so much of it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And during the dark times, you just bought it all because there wasn't enough of it for you to have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So what I tell you is enjoy this while you can, because it won't always be like this. It won't always be this intense. It won't always be this big. There'll be other things, and I'm not saying this is the biggest it'll ever be again, but it won't always be this. So enjoy this while you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is. It's a very, and I'm coming to realize this more and more, Scott. It is a very uniquely special time to be a Star Wars fan. We've always kind of said that as a. I know the RFR guys on Rebel Force Radio have said this for many years, but it's like never a better time to be a Star Wars fan than now. But that has such a unique meaning just in the last 2 weeks. Just in the week since we've started this podcast, and we're Scott, we're soaking it in. We're I mean, I can't think of a better way to say it other than we are washing ourselves in the excitement that is this new Star Wars film. And even just hearing myself say these words, there is a giant corner of my brain that's like, Riley, you idiot! It's a movie. Stop it. But I'm just going to ignore that part of my brain because I can.
Yeah,
so
please do.
Shut up, brain.
Please ignore that.
And
here's the thing. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, but go ahead by all means.
Okay, our internet connection's not the best in the world, so I think we're delaying on each other a good bit. But here's the amazing thing: is you look at all these chats, you look at the chat log. There's all these people who've shown up to hear what we have to say. There are people who are showing up to hear what other people have to say. Jimmy and Jason are out there. The boys from Brews and Blasters, Joey and Chris, who I love to death. You've got a whole Star Wars Report network with Aaron and Teresa and Mark and
everybody else.
What's the kid's name? Huh?
You're talking Jason. You're talking Carl. You're talking everybody.
Jason and Carl, of course.
Yeah, it's a huge clan.
And there are so many people out there who are sharing their love for Star Wars, and I've been beating this one to the ground lately, but it's just because I've gotten sick of hearing people tell me there are too many Star Wars podcasts out there. I agree that there are too many out there to listen to, but to try and say let's limit people's passion for it and let's limit people's ability to express themselves about it, and it frustrates me because there are more than I can listen to, no doubt. But in the overall, this is an amazing number of people who are A, motivated to be a part of this, and B, who want to be part of a large community.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, and I couldn't be more happy just to be in the place we are right now. And I'll be honest, I'll get real here because this is Scott. We got one more time to do this together before the movie comes out.
Oh boy, yeah, and it's Thursday. I mean, our next two are I'm Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Which means I'm kind of having to bow out early because unless we're going to do one on the night of the preview screenings.
Yeah, no, it's like we got like this. I've been kind of talking about it this week. Next, let's see, it's Thursday the 3rd. Next Thursday's the 10th, and we are going to do shows on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday just to wrap it up. Yeah. But that's literally like those are the days that me, Steve, and Teresa will be together. So that's how we're capping out the episodes. Is
that's
our
right.
in-person.
We're all together that night. That's right.
Exactly. So that's going to be how Star Wars Tonight caps off. And I'll be
So
honest.
I get screwed out of my final slot.
That pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ah.
But Scott, I'll be honest. Since
You, Blanton.
I know. Since this is so close to the end, I feel like I need to communicate that I know that this won't last forever, and that, in a year and 4 months, I commission in the Air Force, and there's no way that I can do this level of media production. I'll always be doing some form of new media content, blogging, podcasting of some kind, but it'll change and it'll decrease once I'm out of college, and it's making me more sober about really appreciating this time that I'm actually able to do this. So I mean, I couldn't be more excited. And there's one special way, Scott, before we cap off tonight's episode, there's one special way that we are commemorating this time in addition to this daily podcast, sir. And that way is what I'm going to tell you after I thank our patrons. Because, see what I did there, sir? See what I did?
Yeah, you teased.
Which just means people are hitting the 30-second forward button. No, seriously, I want to thank all of the new patrons. Mentioned them yesterday. Going to give them a quick shout-out here, too. In the chat, by the way, Red 5 Mom, as well as Daniel, in the chat now. And also thanks to Woo S. Kim and Karen and Matt. And we've had a number of folks join us just in the last few weeks. And you guys are helping make this show happen. Make me be able to do things like order the equipment to get some external monitors and get a better video set up, and order new microphone cables, and that's the kind of stuff that I can't afford unless you guys help. So, I mean, I've been doing this little podcast, Dinky's Podcast Studio, for forever, but in the last few months since we've launched the Patreon, it's made us able to slowly build our little arsenal of a home studio here in my room in Fayetteville, Georgia, to broadcast every day about Star Wars, and that's thanks to your support. If you're enjoying this programming, if you like what we do here at StarWarsReport.com and here at Star Wars Tonight, you can support us by just going to patreon.com/StarWarsReport, and we're just thanking you guys who do that. We're tossing out Friday episodes as a bonus to to the folks that support us at any level on Patreon. So pledge a penny. This is the penny drive. Pledge a penny, jump in the system, and get yourself a free bonus episode on Friday. And we're doing video editions as well, so that's how we're releasing them. So we appreciate everyone who's making this show happen and making the setup and the production happen for our special Star Wars watch parties. What? Scott,
yes,
we are doing a special live stream watch party of Star Wars A New Hope, the film that started it all, at StarWarsReport.com/live. I'll be streaming it through my Twitch account right there. It's this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Saturday the 5th. It's a new Revenge of the 5th. It doesn't work because we're on A New Hope. But it is Saturday, 8 p.m. Make sure that you join us. And what you want to do is go to StarWarsReport.com/watch party. And right there, you're going to see a blog post that I put together. That's going to give you the link to the Facebook event where you can RSVP. It'll shoot you a reminder, and I'll be posting the link there to watch live. And it's going to give you all of the details. If you're trying to remember, like, wait, when was it? Just go to StarWarsReport.com/watch party. And I'll be updating that link as we do each new film. We'll probably be doing Empire Strikes Back, probably a more casual one. I don't really know the exact time on that. We're probably going to do Empire sometime Sunday evening if we can. And then, of course, we're going to cap it all off with Return of the Jedi, Saturday the 12th. It's just a matter of deciding on the exact time. I've already got a few confirmations. Mark Hamill will be joining us. Bethany, my sister, my partner in crime here on the Star Wars Report.
Sister.
She will be joining me. Teresa is... I'm waiting to hear from Teresa. Teresa will be joining me as long as I don't play the Falcons Fly with Destiny song.
Now, and I will not be joining you.
Because you will be in a much better place.
Because?
You will be in, well, a much more magical place. In fact, you will be not unlike the very first episode of this program that Amy Ratcliffe did, which is still to this date the shortest episode, and there's a good reason why, because she was at Disneyland the entire time. And so she had better things to do than just be stuck on the phone talking to me for too long. But speaking of which, you will be, speaking of Disney, at Disney World, Scott. And I wish you the best of times as you enjoy that magical kingdom.
But don't you understand? Yes, I'm taking this because it's my 20th wedding anniversary. But there's another reason entirely why I'm joining this expedition. And that is I'm going to be scouting out. Remember, what is today? The 3rd?
It is.
2 days ago, Star Wars Launch Bay opened at the Disney Studios.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's the sound excited Riley makes. Ooh.
Yes. Ooh. It's also the sound he makes when he sees a spider on the ground. But so one thing I'm going to be doing is scouting that out, taking a lot of pictures, and getting some good Star Wars info from there. So next Thursday, in my grand finale on Star Wars Tonight, because I'm getting the boot a week early. I don't. Obviously, you knew that this Thursday thing was going to happen, and that's okay, Riley. That's okay. But I'm going to be giving you the full lowdown, and you'll be the first one to get the full lowdown.
All right.
Because I got nobody else on the schedule right now. I've been doing a lot of podcasts lately, by the way, but you're the only one for next week so far.
Awesome. See, and this is how we roll. This is the kind of exclusive content you'll only get here on Star Wars Tonight.
Yes, you can go other places and see stuff about the Star Wars Launch Bay and all that, but you won't get my take on it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't wait to get to Disney, man. I got to get there sometime soon. It's becoming ridiculous. I need to. There's no Star Wars weekends, which makes me so sad. But we'll. I have a feeling maybe this coming summer I'll be able to squeeze in a trip between all of my various commitments.
Let me know. I've already booked my next summer trip, so.
Oh, we'll talk, sir. We will.
Yeah.
We will have a conversation.
Yes, indeed. Oh, there's the daggum music. What the hell? What the hell?
He got it. There it is, folks. You hear that big band music, and you know what it means. It means that
a week early. I'm getting bumped off the show tonight.
Yep. Yes, indeed. It is the last episode of this week. 14 days until The Force Awakens hits the big screen. Huge thank you to everybody who's joined us live at StarWarsReport.com/live, and everyone who is watching the YouTube edition. Make sure you subscribe to the Star Wars Report on YouTube, and of course, everyone who's been leaving ratings and reviews on iTunes. I have scheduled a visit to the post office tomorrow to send out some of the goodies that we've given away to the latest round of folks who've been leaving us a review. Stay tuned on our Twitter and leave us a rating and review on iTunes. Help get the word out about the show because it's climbing the charts, man. It's up at the
and it's
front
about
page.
to die.
This is true. We got to go out with a bang.
Away.
Help us go out like the Death Star and leave us a rating and review. And then what you want to do after you leave a rating and review, email me, StarWarsTonight@gmail.com. If you do that, along with your Apple user ID so that I can make sure that I can confirm stuff, then I'm sending very special items to folks, and I'm actually tweeting out pictures of them as we're getting ready to give them away. So stay tuned there. Folks, that puts the wraps on this episode. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I thank you for supporting me, supporting Scott, Justin, Amy,
Who may
Steve.
or may not be back next week.
and of course, just being a part of this whole Star Wars spectacular bonanza. Make sure that, I guess you already know the email, you know the iTunes, you know the StarWarsReport.com/watch party, and of course, remember, if you want to support the show, it's Patreon.com/Star Wars Report. Folks, so long. It's been real. Let the Wookiee win. Always let C-3PO tell the stories to the Ewoks. Always never have Dak as your co-pilot on a snowspeeder.
What are you doing?
And, These aren't the droids you're looking for. We'll see you. We'll see you. We will
bumped off
see
the
you.
stage for that.
We will see you next week. That's right, D-Dog. Never tell us the odds. Always shoot first. Keep them coming in the chat.
Just stop it.
Boom. There it is, folks. Another episode in the can.
You gotta let me know.
I got a what?
You gotta let me know when you guys are recording that final episode too.
Oh, yeah. We should totally... If I can do it... Man, it'd be kind of hard to do, but I bet I could get a splitter or two and just hook a bunch of mics into the into my recorder. And then, after doing that, I could also just plug in the computer and... you'd just hear us through the built-in mic like we've done before, but I bet that... See? We could do that. Mobile recording.
I at least want to crash the podcast. I'll do a pod bomb.
Yeah, you are welcome to do, sir. We will talk about those plans for sure. All right, I will... I'm going to shut off the YouTube edition here real quick. To the folks on YouTube, thanks for watching, and we will see you very soon.